Hey everyone, so I had like an overwhelming response yesterday to those videos. So I'm just coming on here today because there's a couple things I just want to bring to your attention that I just thought the videos were done yesterday. The point was made in what I wanted to share with all of you. But some of the feedback I'm getting, I just want to share an example because there's some great questions that you guys asked. There's so many great comments going on in there, and I'm just so happy that a lot of you are so awake and aware of so many things. So the example I want to give you before I talk about some of the comments I received and the questions that I received is understanding the brain, right? So when you know there's certain things that I've seen on Facebook where there'll be like a couple sentences written there and they're like a bunch of letters put together. If you look at it with a clear beta look, right? Totally focused, it's just a bunch of like letters put together. It doesn't make sense, right? But if you just kind of look at it casually, you can actually put the sentence together. The brain will scramble the words and put together what makes sense and what it assumes the sentence is about to say. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that before. So why am I sharing this with you is yesterday, I spoke one sentence, I believe, talking about these things, right? And I was talking about that being part of their agenda of getting the technology and the synthetic biology preparation in the human beings. That's all I said. And I want to share with you what feedback I received. So with just that one sentence, that's all I said. I had many people come in and put together a story that they received through their perception of thinking that people who did get this will not be able to ascend. They're doomed, and basically, you know, they're doomed. Okay, they took this, they're doomed, and their fate is implosion, which is not what I said. The ones that didn't take it were basically feeling that they were the ones that can raise their consciousness. They are the ones that are going to be able to override the lower frequencies and be immune to what's going on. So why I'm bringing this up is because this is what our brains do based on your perception and your belief system. Or in another way of explaining this, your level of consciousness, right? Your dominating thoughts, your dominating beliefs, they come through, and that's how your brain reorganizes the sentences. It's also how your brain reorganizes your perception. This is why everybody's perception is different, because it's based on your belief systems. So because I didn't say any of those things, but people perceive this, I wanted to bring this up because this is the trick about not understanding who you are at a fundamental level and what your brain's actually doing. So you can be tricked into believing that your perception is true, it's accurate, when it's based on all lies and manipulations. Your truth isn't true, but you will never see past that until you entertain new ideas, new beliefs, a new consciousness awareness. So this is what I wanted to bring to your awareness, to pay attention. You have to be more conscious than unconscious. You have to force yourself until it becomes a habit to be aware of your thoughts, be aware of your behaviors, be aware of what you're judging, what you're looking at. Bring yourself so that you're aware more than you're not, and you'll be able to see where you might be tricked. Your perception is being tricked into seeing something that's not true. So, and that example that I just gave you, for people that actually put together in their own mind this story, this perception, that I literally said that people who took it are doomed and the people who didn't are not. That was not even at all talked about in my reels. So this is because all throughout our life, all throughout humanity, it's always been about against humanity something, right? It's either the vax, non-vax, smokers, non-smokers, blacks, whites, different colors. It's always a war for some reason. It's in your cellular memory. It's part of your habitual thinking. So it's not that it's your fault, but it's your responsibility to tidy that up. So what I wanted to share today, just to alleviate fear, because fear is so instilled in so many people because of the program. The system is all based in fear. When you really get to know who you are, when you start to study your spiritual side of yourself, not just your physical side, you can't hold fear because you know that you're eternal, you know that you're infinite, and you know there's more power running to and through you that you have ever been told as a physical being in the third dimension. Fear can't be there because you know yourself. And this is why the censorship's been so strong, because if you know even a small aspect of your real whole self, the control's gone. The control's gone. When you can't scare the hell out of humanity anymore with all your stories and lies, what happens? You don't have our attention anymore. We're actually focused on ourselves. We're not paying attention to them anymore. And this is why they've engaged all of humanity's attention on the media. And when you give something your attention, what happens? It grows and expands. It becomes your reality. So I'm going to talk about consciousness in a very brief way because it's abstract and it's very intense information when you're not used to hearing about abstract information, because we're programmed to only watch, believe, give our time to things that you can see. When, to be honest, if anyone hears this, the most important thing to do at this point especially is really get to know the abstract, the invisible worlds, the invisible side of you, the things that you can't see, like your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, consciousness. These are the most powerful tools that all of you have access to, and we've been limited to the physical world of looking at all the things that are already created. I've always said that I hope this lands for right people, that when you are in the physical world and you're trying to change something there, it is literally impossible. That's why we think the world is such a hard place and we think that everything's a struggle, because you're going against law, because you don't understand that you don't create new things in the physical world. You keep creating the same things in the physical world because that's all you're staring at. Perception. It is so powerful. You create new things outside of the third dimension, and then you transmute them into this dimension. So this is where you really have to harness your power. The invisible is where everyone should be starting to learn more about, because that is where everything begins, and that's where you are. The physical body is just an expression of your spirit. So consciousness is actually at the seat of everything. It's at the seat of our humanness. It's at the seat of our spirituality, because our consciousness is a frequency, and it's what we emit out from ourselves, and this is what we experience in our reality. So whatever is in that consciousness, which is all your thoughts, your experiences, your beliefs, your perceptions, your ideas, they're all going to be equal to each other. Okay, so you have to look at your reality. And if you see that things out there are not what you want, then it's always an inside job. It is never an external job to change it. But what I want to say about consciousness is the higher in consciousness you are, it means the higher in frequency that you are. And what happens when a human is in higher frequency is they access more abundance, more health, more joy, more information, and they are able to impact themselves in terms of growth and evolution, and in turn, they impact the world, the collective. So it's all a win-win when you elevate your consciousness. Now, when you stay in a very low level of consciousness, it's the exact opposite effect, the exact opposite reality that I just shared was what happens when you are in a high level consciousness. So when you look at yourself or you look at the collective, the system plugs you into all low consciousness. And if you're not aware of this information, you accept this as just the way the world is. You accept this, oh, this is just my fate. This is just my reality. No, it's not. Your fate is literally in your hands when you understand how you and your consciousness creates your reality. So I made this short video because people think because they took the shot, they're doomed. And what I want you to understand is if you think that and you accept that, that's your level of consciousness, you will receive that in truth in your life. What I'm trying to share with all of you is that what would be the most important thing for humans to do right now is learn about themselves and raise their level of consciousness, because what you can access as you up-level yourself is personal to yourself, but it's going to be more infinite, it's going to be more intelligence, and it's going to take you from the less and mediocrity to more abundance and prosperity in everything in your life. So when it comes to these lower dense frequencies, the information that we are given in the system, these things in the shots, the brainwashing and all the information through the five senses, higher frequencies override lower. It's that basic. It really is that basic. But humanity has to understand that they are a frequency, and that what they're doing is plugging into the system's information, which is low frequency. So that is your fate. But if you override the lowers and you raise your consciousness, those shots have nothing to do with it. You don't accept that reality. You've changed your reality. This is where I said that we all change timelines on a regular basis. But what we want to do is control and master ourselves so that we can choose a timeline that we desire and stay on it. And then once you get to that timeline and you have the life that you desire, there's always something within you. It's the God spark. It's the spiritual side of yourself that's always about more life. So you're going to want something new and more than what you have now. That is a normal evolutionary process of a human being. Growth and evolution, more. So when you take into the consideration that the higher level of frequency, the more healthy you are, the more happy you are, the more abundant your life is, you jump a timeline, you switch realities. So there is infinite realities around, and we choose it through our frequency field. This is why I said to you, you can exit this artificial timeline, but you have to understand how you got into the artificial timeline. And how you got into it is through mind manipulation, perception hacking, and taking on and accepting things that are absolutely not true that keep you locked in a very low level of consciousness. I called it a consciousness trap. You have to elevate your consciousness, even just slightly, and I promise you, you'll notice a lot of things different. You change your attitude, you will see things differently. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this before. The effort is not physical, my friends. The effort is mental. So what keeps humans anchored into third dimension, into an artificial timeline? It is their belief systems, it's their attitudes, it's their thoughts, it's their feelings, and they consistently plug in to the system. So nothing new is coming through for them to change it until you're made aware of this information. And then, like I just previously said, it's a mental game. It's not about physical work. There are things that need to be done in the physical world to complete the manifestation of what you want. But the majority of it, 99%, is the mental part of it. Because you have to unlearn pretty well everything you know. And most people are not willing to do that because that's who they are. It's their identity. They associate their life, their house, their bank account, their friends, their family, their everything with who they are as an identity. It makes them feel safe. So when you have to disassociate yourself from that identity, that scares a lot of people. I don't know about you, but for me, when life changed was when I was so done with the system's fearing tactics. I saw through them. I didn't know how to elevate them. I didn't know how to get out of them, but I was tired of them because I knew they were there on purpose for some reason. I didn't know why back then. But it took me a long time to understand the secret, the real way of exiting an artificial timeline and creating a timeline that is one that we want. And it always comes down to you. It's not something outside of you. You don't need to wait for anything. You don't need to have help from anyone outside of yourself. You have to make the decision yourself. And then everything, the universe, makes things come together for you. It moves things around like chess pieces on a board for it to manifest what you are asking. You are the one who asks for what you want. You're not a victim. You're a divine, intelligent being, gifted the same qualities in terms of manifestation as our Creator. You think a thought, you believe it, you receive it. It's that basic. So just like when you play a video game and you move from one level to the next level to the next level as you get better, you're still playing the video game, the same game, but the landscape changes, right? Each level, something's different coming at you, or there's something new you're seeing or you're having to overcome. This is such a simple example of explaining when we move into higher dimensions. It's not like a major event that's going to be a flash and you feel like you just got off an airplane and here you are, welcome to 5D. No, it's subtle like the video game. The landscape will be different. Remember, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Your consciousness is projecting into this hologram, into this world, an experience, which is beautiful. But you change your level of consciousness, it brings you on a different plane of existence. And this is what Ascension's all about. It's about upgrading your consciousness so that you can finally create heaven on earth. You can finally use the kingdom that was given to you and manifest anything you desire. Your landscape will keep changing, keep shifting every time you grow and evolve and change yourself. And this is where you're moving always towards more instead of towards less. Because energy doesn't stay static. Energy is either moving up or it's going backwards. So humanity is either moving towards more life or it's moving towards death. There's no in between. So to move towards life, to ascend, to elevate, and to experience different landscapes of experiences of reality, it's just like a video game. You move up into a different landscape of the same game. So you are in a world, in a reality world. But your whole entire reality and the experiences will change because your consciousness has allowed you to move up. Truth, at the basis of metaphysics, everything is love, abundance, joy. That is the truth. When evil comes in, when illness comes in, it's because we've accepted something that isn't true. And because we are creators, we create what we think about in a most dominant way and what we believe. So for those of you who just got that aha moment, it should clean up all fear. It should put you into a whole new realm when you understand the absolute truth, the real earth, the prime earth, the real reality for you as divine beings is all abundant joy, love, health, prosperity, and more life to you and to others. When we experience what you're seeing in this artificial timeline, this is done through the manipulation of your mind, your ideas, your beliefs. So of course we're going to create that because we are creators. Are you getting this? You unplug from things that go against truth and focus on the truth, which is only unconditional love, abundance, wholeness, prosperity, joy, happiness, health, unity. That's your new landscape. That's your new landscape. That's your new timeline. That is New Earth.